Hey, Dr. Shook here. I want to share with you guys a study that I recently read. And this study showed that 52% of patients that have Hashimoto's, they also have another autoimmune condition, and that's at least one. So whenever I see people in my office or I work with distance consulting clients, one of the things I want to know is, have you had antibodies checked? So have you had antibodies to your thyroid checked? Number one. And if you have, I'm looking in your history. I'm looking to see, where else is this autoimmunity? Guys, I'm just finishing. I'm in between workouts, between sets here. So breathing kind of heavy. So I want to know, where else is the autoimmunity? So what we want to know is, do you have antibodies to any other tissues? If you've seen any of my other videos, that there are 3 different stages of autoimmunity. So a good example is you can have antibodies to a tissue for 5 to 15 years before that tissue starts to be destroyed significantly and you start to present with symptoms. So we will check typically 24 different common antibodies where we see reactivity that's more common with Hashimoto's. So we'll look at neurological tissues, bone, joint, liver. We will look at smooth muscle. We'll look at the heart tissue. What else are there? There's several other ones, 24 total that we're going to look at. Phospholipids, a few other things that we'll look for. Okay, so we're going to look to see, is your immune system attacking other tissues? Has this expanded to other tissues? Because if it has, it's very important. One of the things that you'll see in people that have Hashimoto's as well is that they'll develop antibodies to their adrenal glands. Adrenal glands produce cortisol, and what people don't realize is, medically, when we talk about those 3 stages of autoimmunity, the 3rd stage is where there's significant tissue destruction, enough that it's measurable to the point that medically they're going to take some kind of intervention. That's typically an anti-inflammatory, a steroid, or an immunosuppressant. Okay, they're not addressing the mechanism before, and that's really because just the model, the healthcare system in the United States anyway, is really needs to catch up quite a bit. So I think with time it will. We're making changes with the things that we're doing here and we're teaching. But right now it's really outdated, and a lot of things can and should be done for people prior to their organs and tissues failing. And so one of the things you'll commonly see is adrenal gland antibodies. So you have to have about 80 to 90% of your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys, produce cortisol, adrenaline, these catecholamines are responsible for a lot of hormones, especially later in life, taking over some of the male and female sex hormone production. You'll see that those glands will have to be 80 or 90% destroyed prior to it being detected on a urinary cortisol test, which is typically how they detect Addison's and Cushing's. Okay, so those are autoimmune conditions against the adrenal gland. So here's the deal. You've got to figure out prior to the tissue destruction, you've got to know what you have antibodies against so that you can come up with a game plan to remove the triggers, support the healing of the systems. Okay, so I'm Dr. Shook. I appreciate you guys. I want to share that with you. It's really important to know that if you have one autoimmune condition, you likely have others. You need to know what's being attacked, because that's where you're going to have problems in the future, especially if you don't work on addressing the mechanisms that are driving it. Okay, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming here and getting your information.